So in our last video, we looked at the systems that were involved in the development of things like addiction or dependency. And we understood that once we get that input from our external environment, the five senses, that our sympathetic system has been activated, we start to look at what is there that is available for us to help maintain our survival. And those items or stimulus or activities, they really fall on a spectrum of what we call gratifiers. And these gratifiers can be placed between instant to delayed effect. And what that means is once our body is exposed to this gratifier, the impact on our opioid system or our endocannabinoid system could be instant, within minutes or seconds, to delayed. Maybe it takes a couple of hours. Maybe it will take a couple of repetitive exposure, or maybe sometimes weeks or months. Let's look at some examples. Instant gratifiers could be things like tablets that might offer immediate pain relief, or medications. It could be things like simple carbohydrates or liquid formation. It could be things like electronics that are constant stimulus to the brain using that blue light. And then as we transition onto the delayed, we're seeing a lot more of our lifestyle factors. It could be things like sleep, which is important for rejuvenation and detoxification of the body. Things like healthy and holistic eating, which will offer micronutrients and macronutrients to keep you thriving. It could be things like connection, or what we'd call therapy in our previous series on connection. So as you can see, our input, once that sympathetic system is activated, the body is looking for a gratifier to help it regain that balance, regain its survival. And naturally, when in a state of survival, if the body receives instant gratifiers on a pretty consistent basis, it will create a very, very strong bind to that. But let's talk a little bit about the downstream effects. This is really where organ fog occurs, and that's a term that I'd like to make a little bit more sense of. So take, for example, inhalants. Inhalants might be able to give you that immediate sense of reduction of anxiety or calmness, but in terms of the lung, they could cause plaque buildup or mucus production. Things like stimulants might really overactivate your cardiovascular system. Alcohol can really cause damaging effects to the liver, for example, or excess amounts of caffeine can really cause damage to things like the kidney and, again, cardiovascular system. Artificial ingredients found in those energy drinks, for example, and simple carbohydrates can really cause significant impact to your entire digestive tract. So what we want to think about with these instant and delayed gratifiers is, what is that downstream effect? Going back to this general spectrum here, the more instant, the more likely there's a downstream effect that is just not being noted by the brain. We, as the higher functioning being, must understand that and really try to offer as often as possible delayed gratifiers. Delayed gratifiers, while it takes a little bit more time and patience for our body to get back to that state of survival, this is really where the healing is, the growth, the thriving occurs, because the downstream effects are not only non-toxic, they improve our immune system, they improve our connectivity, and they improve our survival. So I hope this gave you a general sense of the different types of gratifiers that could fill in this line. In our next video, we will try to better understand how this may impact things like weight. And then we will look at what are the steps I can take to move myself towards the delayed gratifiers as the answer. See you in the next video.